Hello, my name is Daryl Robert Schume, and I have the immense pleasure of being here with you once again with Reverend Betty Tatalajski, the founder of the Temple of Universality here in Tucson, Arizona. And without further ado, here she is.
Hi friends, it's good to be with you again. I just love to be with you and share. We all do. That's why we have coffee together. You know, sometimes it's to lament, sometimes it's to celebrate, but we love to be with each other, don't we? And I just love to talk about my friends in spirit world, or my friends around me, and I feel like I just am so rich. I have access to both. Thank you so much for watching the show. And I wanted to talk today about another one of my heroes. I have so many heroes and heroines, many in spirit and some still here. But I find it interesting, you know, when I'm turning the television set and I'm going from channel to channel. And mostly, I guess people's heroes are rock stars and rap, what do you say, singers or dancers or whatever.
Hip hop.
Yeah, this
athletes.
This is also good, I'm sure. But I'm inspired by people and their lives. And I wanted to just share with you someone that most of you know, and that's Swami Yogananda. You know, I have this copy of his autobiography here. Most of you are familiar with it. I've heard that it's the second most popular book in the world. I don't know if we're just talking about India, but here in the U.S., but around the world, it's well known, and it's a tribute. Not great enough tribute, I feel, but a tribute to one of the wonderful people that a lot of people think he died, actually, but since we know that no one has ever died, there are no dead people. We just make transition into another realm. So Swami Yogananda is actually more available than he was when he was here on earth, because, you know, he could only go to New York or California, India, or so forth. But now he's everywhere present, always present. He's, you know, at the temple, we do a few classes, and they're facilitated. We do not teach those classes. We are facilitators, okay? And we facilitate for the spirit world. So we have facilitate for the ascended masters, for the great teachers like Jesus, Buddha, Mohammed, and all of the other great people. So I just wanted to kind of share with you, because most of you will know everything I'm saying, as I said, because he's such a popular person. But he's also a teacher on the faculty of the Temple of Universality. And so we can sit there on a Wednesday or whenever, or Friday. On Friday, we can invite him to come in and talk, and probably he will. But we can talk about him, and he's always there. And he's, you know, inspiration, which means in spirit. People need to know that they can do this. You know, they sit and watch television and see dancing. I can do that. That's wonderful, because they are inspired. But this divine discontent that we have is also looking for inspiration for the spirit, for the soul. We all are here to, as we would say, to wake up and find out why we are here, because nobody came in without a purpose. You just can't get past the karmic board in the spirit world without a purpose. It's like going out for your passport. Well, why do you want to go there? Every time I go to the Middle East, I'm asked again, why do you want to go? Well, I say, well, I'm part of the Middle East Peace Initiative. And I'm over there to do my part, just to be there, to bring peace, solace to my heart. And we go round and we sing and dance and we chant peace, shalom, salam alaikum, peace in the Middle East. So that's why we do that. Everybody has something that in the back of their mind, I would like to do that. Well, you are totally unlimited. So you have no excuse that you're too old, too young, too poor, too fat, too uneducated. Because as Jesus has said, ye are gods, the Spirit, and then the kingdom of heaven is within in you. So you're totally unlimited. So I wanted to talk about one of my friends who is totally unlimited, and that's Swami Yogananda. And one of the stories that I love about him is, don't swat at mosquitoes. Now, we've just come through a rainy season where the newspaper and the news was talking about the dangers of getting bitten by mosquitoes. You might get this
West Nile
you might
virus,
get
right.
it. You might just get it, because some folks are gonna, you know. And if you start worrying about it, it certainly could be you. But do not swat at mosquitoes. Now, I love the story in here when he meets his guru, Sri Yukteswar.
Okay.
And they're getting along just fine until the mosquitoes start swarming around him. Now he's waiting for Sri Yukteswar to say, you know, get the netting, put it over your bed, and you'll be fine. But he doesn't say that. He doesn't say it until he is attacked and he has been eaten alive, okay, with mosquitoes. And then he tells them, don't swat at mosquitoes, okay?
So this is part of Yogananda's spiritual training.
His training.
Okay.
Okay. So he found out you sit there and breathe. We call it meditation. Forget about swatting the mosquitoes, and they won't bother you. Now,
isn't this what Daniel did in the cave?
absolutely. Do not resist evil. Don't resist evil. So this is the lesson about the mosquitoes. It also works on your problems because sometimes, you know, when something really tragic and big happens and you just go in and take care of it, because you have to, okay? But those mosquito ones that just are gnawing at you, you know, I'm not pretty enough, I don't, you know, I'm not smart enough, all these things that the ego's job is to keep us out of heaven.
Yeah.
And it does a good job.
Great job.
Yeah. So anyway, it's don't swat at mosquitoes. Well, he learned that from Sri Yukteswar.
Okay.
But I learned it in the Marine Corps.
That was part of your spiritual training.
That was it. And that was the first day I was there. When I...
So where was this, Betty?
In Paris Island.
Paris Island.
In
Okay.
Paris Island.
All right.
I learned a lot there. I didn't know why I was there, how I got there, you know. And I didn't know about divine order. And
How old were you when you ended up in the Marine Corps camp?
19.
19.
Yes.
You ended up in boot camp.
You would have thought I was smarter than that, you know. I mean, I had made, you know, I was...
You got good grades?
I had good grades, you know. I made all A's. I mean, but I must have been the most stupid, smart girl you knew. So anyway, we get
Just can't believe it still.
off the train in Yamasee, South Carolina, in the middle of a hurricane. And of course, there's no light at all. And apparently, folks forgot to get their candles, you know. So you're holding hands. They said, hold hands, you know, in a line. You didn't know who whose hand you were holding. But anyway, the next day, after an interesting night, We get over to Paris Island, to Swamp Lejeune. Well, that's
Camp Lejeune. You call it Swamp Lejeune?
Well, this was Paris Island. We call Camp Lejeune Swamp Lejeune too,
okay.
but nothing like Paris Island. You
Now,
know.
how many guys were there to girls? Just for a off
Well,
topic.
let's see. There was one division and all support of a division, so there was about 30,000 men and 300 women. I thought the odds were terrific. I never knew how I got there. I never knew that I ever signed anything, but it was interesting. I was never bored.
You like the odds.
I like the odds. It was never boring either. But I also didn't know that I had enough grit
To
survive.
it. Yeah.
It wasn't like, do you like it, or
Yeah.
you know, I'm surviving.
Yeah.
I'm surviving.
Marine Corps boot
Well,
camp.
now, we all had to go to the psychiatrist too. While we were in boot camp, they sent us each one.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, this is my chance.
To get out?
This is my chance to get out because.
How long had you been in
because-
when you saw the shrink?
About 4 weeks.
Okay. And
Uphill.
now you're in for a month. How long had you signed up for?
I don't know, a couple of years.
Okay. All right.
Couple of
So
years.
you've got a long road in front of you.
So I thought, well, now, you know, when Daddy finds out the hell that I'm in,
Yeah.
he's going to have a fit, you know?
Yeah.
He's going to get me out of here. And okay, now I'm going to the psychiatrist. He's going to get me out of here because nobody can be treated this bad, okay? So he said, you know, he was just really sweet.
Yeah, the shrink.
Yeah, you know, it's like he didn't call me honey like I'm used to, you know, in my life in Kentucky.
Kentucky,
But,
yeah.
you know, so how is it? And I said, it's just awful. and I started sobbing and crying.
Crying. Did you intend to?
No.
No, it just happened.
That's the condition
I
I
was
was
in. Okay.
You know,
All
getting
right.
up.
Yeah.
Anyway, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. So I'm just sitting there sobbing, and he's giving me Kleenex, and he says, well, you're going to make a great Marine. It just shocked me, and I was like,
What?
what was I there for? You asked me what it was, I told you, and now you...
Oh, Betty.
Anyway, so... Don't swat at mosquitoes.
So when
So,
did they tell you? When did you?
the next day.
The next day after you saw the shrink?
No.
Oh, when you
no,
got there.
When I got there.
Oh, when you woke up at
Remember-
Camp Lejeune.
Yeah.
On Paris Island.
At Paris Island,
Okay.
because
All right.
the first 24 hours, pitch dark.
Okay.
You know. The
Now
next
Paris
day,
Island is exactly where? Is it Louisiana?
South
Carolina?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, okay.
Paris Island,
Okay,
South Carolina. And they make Marines out of you.
Okay.
You're not just.
You don't go in a Marine. You come out
You
a
come
Marine.
out You're always a Marine.
Okay.
You
Okay.
don't ever get over that.
Yeah.
I didn't know until Spirit told me I was going to be ordained and have and create this temple of universality and a new consciousness called universalism. I didn't know what Paris Island was for. Or Camp Lejeune was for until I got that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So anyway, the next day we're in Paris Island, and we're in like formation as if we knew what formation was. And said, okay, number one. First of all, they had a book, the UCMJ. Any thing that you don't do right, you get shot or court-martialed. So they said the first thing is don't swat at the mosquitoes.
And they were
Don't.
serious.
They were serious. Do not kill a mosquito. Uniform code of
Wow, it was in the book.
They said it was. We didn't
No,
get a copy.
you didn't get a copy. That's right. Okay.
We didn't get a
All
copy.
right. Okay.
So they said this place belongs to them.
Wow.
This, what are they, sand mosquitoes, special kind. Do not Do not slap at them. I learned real quick, since you were going to get shot if you did, okay? I learned not to swat at mosquitoes, and learned to march, okay? I never saw a dead mosquito. Anytime you were out, you were swarmed with mosquitoes.
Really?
Anytime you were marching in formation, anytime you were anywhere, they were big ones.
Wow.
And you could hear them buzz,
Yeah.
okay?
The kind where you go like,
But you don't do that.
Okay.
You don't do that. So I learned not to swat at mosquitoes.
and did they bite?
Not if you didn't know. If you swatted at one, you were going to be covered and they would bite. They would seriously hurt you.
Okay.
Okay? But since we couldn't, they just buzzed around and didn't bite us. That was quite the lesson. Okay? Because they were not threatened. Because for us, they didn't exist.
Maybe they should tell the Marine Corps, don't shoot at Muslims.
Right.
And they
right.
would feel threatened.
Yeah, true. That's a lesson for the whole world. If we stop threatening
People.
you know, sing and dance and have a good time with them, this is much better. That's really how you make friends and influence people, is to be kind to them, okay? And that's
Folks,
how we
this is a Marine, and she's still a Marine because you're always a Marine.
Yeah.
I want you to know you heard a Marine say this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's sing and dance and have a party,
That's
you know?
great.
But I learned not to swat at mosquitoes. Now, in life, we have a lot of them.
A lot of mosquitoes.
A lot of things happen to us that we want to make a federal case out of, okay? Somebody could step on your foot and hurt and ruin your new expensive shoes.
Betty, with me, it's as easy as somebody driving slow in front of me when I'm on my way somewhere.
Well, I'm the one driving slow because I feel for those people because I'm not a professional driver, you know. I just drive because I have to. But do not swat at things because there's always something bigger. Be at peace. In silence, acquiesce. In silence, acquiesce. Do not try to tempt people into hurting you. And don't sit around and think of what people have done to you. Think that they are doing the best they can, just like you are. But I love Swami Yogananda. Of course, you know that yoga means harnessing the spirit and the soul together, the body, the spirit, and your soul. And Paramahansa, which he is called, means great swan, great swan. It means that, you know, a swan is so very beautiful with their long neck. And you put a glass of milk, and it's said that they can put their beak in there and bring out the white essence of the milk, the nutrient of the milk, and leave the water.
Wow.
And that is why he is called Paramahansa, the great swan. I remember in '85 when we were in a great circle of masters, Moses, Abraham, and so forth, and he was facilitating, and he said to it, because everybody that I knew had a copy of his book anyway in the class, and he says, I am not a universal master teacher. I am introducing 5 who are. But I have made the 4th initiation. Anyway, he's a great, great person. We'll want to talk about next time about his classes at the Calcutta University and how he didn't graduate because of the score. You remember the story, because he had been told he was going to graduate and would go to the West, and that was, of course, he was going to the college about once every 6 or 7 days, and he was at the feet of his Swami the rest of the time. And so when the scoring came, he didn't pass.
That was like me in law school, but I wasn't at the foot of my Swami. One out of 6 and 7 sounds familiar.
You found it later. But anyway, he goes crying, to Sri Yukteswar. You told me I was going to do it. He says, stop crying. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. What do you mean, don't worry?
Yeah.
I'm flunked. I saw it on the bulletin board
That's
this
right.
morning,
My parents are going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So he's lamenting all night. He's flunked out.
Yeah.
The next morning, his friends say, Mukunda, da-da-da-da, look at the bulletin board. And they had lowered the score to include his. So he runs back to Sri Yukteswar. Teacher, I'm so sorry I doubted you. And he said they changed the score, and now
He passed.
I love what Sri Yukteswar said. Well, better than that the school changed the grades, which had been that grade for 600 years, okay? Better that they would change the grade than God would have to rearrange the moons, stars, and the skies because your horoscope said you're going to pass, you're going to the West, and you're going to be a gift to the world. I love that answer.
Oh, Betty, I want to tell you something. I wasn't sitting at the foot of my guru, and my chart never said these things about. But I want to tell you something.
It must have said you were going to be here today.
Well, but it said that. But what happened is, now that you tell the story, I got I think a 63 or something, or 60. I got a 68 on my file, and I was going to class around once. I wasn't going to my morning classes at my second half, my first year in law school. I was in San Francisco. This was the day. This is the 60s. All right.
Well, you had a lot of
other things to do. Diversity.
You had a lot of diversity.
Stuff. So I go to my class in the afternoon. I'm in Hastings Law School. And I went back and I took the finals. I'd never flunked out before.
Well, no. And there's no excuse for you to.
Yeah, so I
mean, you're brilliant, so that you don't have an excuse.
Well, so I take the finals, all right? And I bought those books, the canned books that have the notes. This is what's in it. Okay. So I read them, all right? And I take these tests. This is 1966 at Hastings Law School, San Francisco. And I passed every course that I didn't go to, the morning ones. I went to the afternoon courses. I flunked them. All right. So my cumulative score was 68. Now, what happened was the next year, and you had to get a 70 to pass. The next year they dropped it to 65. So I was.
Well, you know what? Sri Yukteswar might be a very good friend of yours.
Oh, Betty, it was better for me and the law that I did not get a degree. Let me assure you, it was better for me and the law profession that I did not get a degree from a law school.
You know what? I kind of agree with you. I agree with you.
There was a little. Do you remember that I have an article up in my house, and I had written when I was in law school that the church should be liable for acts of God.
Okay. All right.
My friend almost got kicked out of law school for putting that in the newspaper. But folks,
oh yes, I remember that. I remember that.
This is why we are at the Temple of Universality. It's spirit, it's you, it's the truth, and Reverend Betty Tatalajski. It's a great mix. 11 o'clock.
Don't swat at mosquitoes.
Don't swat at mosquitoes. Whatever they're for.
I think of a friend who did. And he's been